Picture this. You've been securely executing your duties, verifying signatures, and serving the public for 4 solid years. Then, you wake up on day 1461 of your Kentucky Notary Commission. What happens? Well, your legal authority vanishes instantly. If you accidentally stamp a document on that very day, you aren't just making some minor administrative slip-up. No, you are performing an unauthorized act that can entirely void a critical legal document and expose you to some really severe civil liabilities and administrative penalties.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly how to renew your notary commission in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And look, we need to jump right in because the state of Kentucky provides 0 statutory grace periods for expired commissions. And honestly, the most important thing to know, the Secretary of State is not going to send you a reminder. There's no helpful little postcard coming in the mail to tell you your time is up. Tracking that expiration date and actually taking action is 100% in your hands. So today, we're going to make sure you know exactly how to secure your next 4-year term with total confidence.
Okay, here's our roadmap. We'll cover the stakes of renewing, check out the eligibility requirements, walk through the 3-phase process, and then wrap up with costs, equipment, and resources. Section 1, the stakes of renewing. No grace periods and no reminders. Like we just mentioned, Kentucky law provides 0 statutory grace period. Under KRS Chapter 423, a notary commission is granted for a fixed term of exactly 4 years, not a day more. When that clock runs out, your authority just ceases. Imagine notarizing a massive real estate closing just 1 day after your commission expires. That document is legally voidable. It could be thrown out entirely. Since the burden of tracking your expiration date is completely on your shoulders, you absolutely have to be proactive about initiating the reappointment process if you want to avoid a lapse.
Moving right along to Section 2, eligibility and qualifications. Let's make sure you're still legally good to go before you apply.
Look, even if you're already a commissioned notary, you still have to satisfy these stringent statutory requirements to get reappointed. You know the basics. At least 18 years old, a U.S. citizen or permanent legal resident, and you must live or have your principal place of employment in the Kentucky county where you're applying. You also got to be proficient in reading and writing English. But here is the absolute crucial detail. Your past term matters. Prior misconduct, a felony conviction, a misdemeanor involving fraud, or, get this, even just failing to maintain your mandatory surety bond during your last term, that can absolutely derail your renewal application. Section 3, the 3-phase process. State, bond, and county. Let's break down this timeline. It's kind of like a 3-part puzzle. There are 3 distinct realms you have to navigate to regain your legal authority. You can, and for sure should, start this process up to 60 days before your current commission expires. Getting that head start is the best way to ensure there's 0 lapse in your legal authority. All right, Phase 1. This involves submitting your actual application to the Kentucky Secretary of State. It's super easy to do online through the KYID portal, or you can kick it old school and apply by mail. You'll submit your application with a non-refundable $10 state filing fee. Now, double-check that your physical address, email, and legal name are perfectly accurate. Once the state verifies you meet all the standards, they'll approve it. They actually send a certificate of appointment directly to your local county clerk, and they'll shoot you a notification that you're approved. Now for Phase 2. The crucial point here is securing your mandatory surety bond. Kentucky law requires every single notary to purchase a 4-year, $1,000 surety bond. Now, a quick history lesson. Prior to a law change back in 2020, property owners could just sign as personal sureties for you. Well, scratch that. It's no longer allowed. You have to purchase a commercial bond from a licensed insurance company. And remember, a surety bond doesn't protect you, it protects the public from your mistakes. If you want to protect your own wallet from lawsuits, you really should look into purchasing a separate errors and omissions, or E&O, insurance policy to go alongside that bond. Phase 3 is where the clock is officially ticking. Like we said, you can initiate the state application 60 days out. But let's call the day you receive your Secretary of State approval notification day 0. From that exact day, you have exactly 30 calendar days, no exceptions, to take your physical bond down to your local county clerk's office, take your constitutional oath of office in person, and have your commission officially recorded. If you miss that strict 30-day window, your application goes vacant. You literally have to start the entire process and pay the state fee all over again. Section 4. Costs, fees, and equipment. Let's talk budget for your next 4 years. Let's lay out the actual tangible financial outlays required to stay compliant. Honestly, it's very affordable, but you're paying a few different entities. First, you've got that $10 state reappointment fee paid to the Secretary of State. Then, your county commissioning fee is $19. Fun fact, that $19 actually covers $10 for recording the bond, $4 for preparing it, and $5 for administering your oath. Next up, your $1,000 surety bond will typically run you between $30 and $40 in premium to a licensed surety company. And finally, you'll need to budget roughly $25 to $50 for a brand new physical stamp from a private vendor.
Okay, I literally cannot emphasize this warning enough. Once you're renewed, you must purchase a brand new stamp that reflects your new expiration date. You absolutely cannot just use your old stamp and cross out the old date with a pen. No way. Doing that can completely invalidate the notarization, and it constitutes a major administrative violation. So, what should you do with the old stamp? The absolute best practice is to peel off the rubber lettering and physically cut it into tiny fragments before tossing it. Feel free to take out a little administrative frustration on it. Just make sure nobody can fraudulently replicate it.
When it comes to your equipment, you also need to decide right now if you are upgrading your tech. For a traditional notary, doing paper acts, keeping a physical paper journal is highly recommended to defend yourself legally, but technically it's legally optional in Kentucky. However, if you choose to upgrade to become a remote online notary, which by the way requires an extra $10 registration fee, your record-keeping requirements jump significantly. Online notaries are strictly mandated by law to maintain a secure electronic journal and retain full audio and video recordings of every single online notarization for 10 full years.
Section 5. Resources and key takeaways. Let's make sure you stay compliant throughout your whole term.
Because compliance absolutely doesn't end the day you renew. If you change your name, your home address, or your email address at any point during your 4-year term, Kentucky law gives you a super strict 10-day window to notify the Secretary of State and pay a $10 update fee. Lose your stamp? You've got to report it promptly to local law enforcement and the state. Also, it's absolutely vital to know about Kentucky's Safe at Home program. It's an address confidentiality program for victims of domestic violence or trafficking. As a notary, you must legally recognize their state-issued substitute address, which is always located in Frankfurt on public documents. That protects their actual residential location.
And that brings us back to where the whole shebang begins. Your primary resource is the official Kentucky Secretary of State website at sos.ky.gov. This is your hub. It's where you'll submit your initial application, report those name or address changes we just talked about, and apply for any online notary upgrades. Do yourself a favor, bookmark this site right now, and plan to start your renewal process at least 4 weeks before your expiration date. So I leave you with this final thought. Will you secure your legal authority, or are you going to let the clock run out? Protecting your commission, maintaining your professional integrity, and avoiding some pretty severe legal liability is entirely in your own hands. Don't wait around for a reminder that isn't coming. Check your expiration date today, mark your calendar 60 days out, and take control of your renewal process.
And as always, please remember that this explainer provides general information designed to help you understand the renewal process. Laws and procedures can and do change, so always consult official state resources like the Kentucky Secretary of State's office or your own legal advisors for personalized advice regarding your specific situation. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy notarizing!